God. Do not hold your peace or be still, O God. For behold, your enemies are in tumult, and those who hate you have raised their heads in hatred of you. They concoct crafty schemes against your people and conspire together against your hidden and precious ones. They have said, come and let us wipe them out as a nation. Let the name of Israel be remembered no more. For they have conspired together with one mind against you and may make a covenant. Against you they make a covenant. The tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagrites, Jebel and Ammon and Amalek, Philistia with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assyria also has joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot, the Ammonites and the Moabites, and have been an arm of strength to them. Salah.
They want to, it's a crafty scheme, right?
Yes.
Plotted, right?
Yes.
Who it is against?
His
Chosen ones, and it's to do what? Wipe them completely out and erase the what?
The name.
The name of Israel. Now, in verses, okay, they consulted with each other. They consulted with each other, right?
Yes.
So not only did they consult with each other, they formed a covenant. They formed a what? Confederacy, which is a what? Covenant. They formed a confederacy against you. Now, I want you to take verses 6, 7, and 8. It named those who were together. I want you to take those names and give who they are today. If it's homework, if it's a race, put the race in there. If it's a country, name the country. And how does it relate for today? It tells you who. Isn't that something? It tells you who. And are we dealing with that today? Crafty schemes against the hidden ones, against the chosen ones, to wipe them out, to erase the name of Israel. So we have, someone tell me the lineage of Israel. Go back some. Who was the daddy? Who was who? Go all the way back.
Abraham.
Huh? Go back to who? Well, you
I didn't get a question.
Oh, we do have a, huh?
Go back to Noah.
Because Noah was his,
Yeah, that was uncle.
His great-
Great grandfather.
come on. Huh? Great. Okay. So, come on, y'all can go out the cheat sheet, it's okay.
So what did you want? What did you say?
The genealogy. Make sure, woman of God has the map and the, family tree.
So the lineage starting with Noah?
We're gonna start with it. It was a crafty scheme against the chosen ones to wipe them out, right? To erase the name of Israel. So we're gonna say, who is Israel? How did Israel even get the name? That's important. Look, let's get the map out. Get the genealogy. Okay. Y'all have it? Yeah. So, because we need to know this because this is very, very key, especially when you begin to talk to other Jews, other Ashkenazis, and we got Nazis, and when we begin to talk to them and the Sephardic Jews, when we begin to talk to them, the lineage is important. We start from where? And we can go back to Genesis. We can go to 10. And we can see all the different names. Right? Let's go. So get 10 in your belly, because let me tell you something what we did not used to do. We would pass the genealogy. This one begat this one, and this one begat this one. You know, we were like, we'll go back to the first verse that's gonna talk to me, because all of this, it don't matter who their cousins and all that. It does matter. Look at somebody say it does matter. It matters because we're learning now how to trace the bloodline. Amen. So Genesis 10 is good. So do we have also the map? And then you got 10. You can go to 11 and 12. No, not 12, just 11. 10, 11, and 12. Did I say 12? 10 and 11, not 12. Okay. Let's see it. So we have Noah and then what? Okay, get the
You have Noah, you have Shem.
get the
Microphone.
yeah. It's going to be very, very, very important to know the genealogy. You got to know the genealogy because now we erase the name of who? Israel. So we have Noah, right? And then who? ETH? ETH?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Under Ham, you have Cush.
Okay, so we got Cush, we got his children, right? Okay.
And under Cush, you have Seba. S-E-B-A.
Let's go with Shem. We have who?
Okay. Under Shem, we have Elam.
E-L.
A.
Okay.
Asher, A-S-S.
He had a bunch of children, right?
Yeah.
And then, so he had a bunch of children, and we're gonna get down to,
Jack.
I don't have mine.
Okay.
Let's go to Eber. And we're gonna go to Eber. This, we just gonna stop it here.
Okay. Okay. So under Shem, we're gonna go to R or Pashad. Oh, we're gonna just bypass.
We're gonna bypass and we go to Eber.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and so Eber, the first time he was mentioned is 10, verse 10:21. Genesis 10, verse 21. Okay? And so when we look up the word Eber, the name Eber, it means Hebrew. So his name means Hebrew. Eber's name means Hebrew. And so we need to find out, okay, his name means Hebrew, why everybody else is not Hebrew?
Because Shem was the father of all.
Say it again.
Shem was the father of all the children of Eber.
He was the what? The father of all the children of Eber. For some reason, we know Shem is the chosen. They chose him for the seed. Then we have Eber, which is, his name means Hebrew. Not only does his name mean Hebrew, but it also means that all the descendants after him are Hebrew. And it was the Hebrew language that they spoke. And the Hebrew language is retained today because with the Tower of Babel, he did not, Eber, Judah, his family, they did not participate in the Tower of Babel. Everybody else's language changed, but the Hebrew language did not change. He did not take part in building the Tower of Babel. And so the Lord has chosen a people for himself. And these people are Hebrews. It tells us Japheth in Genesis 10, it tells us they were the Gentiles. When we talk about Japhet, it says that they were Gentiles. And we know Ham is Libya, the Africa, the northeastern part of Africa, Egypt, Canaan. But not the Negroes. Out of Japhet not only came the Gentiles, but also came the Caucasians and the Europeans. Ham is all the African nations. Shem, we're talking about Northern Africa and Middle Eastern. We're not talking about that Middle East later. Now, let's look at the bloodline. Eber goes down to who? Does it go down to Abraham? Abraham's dad was who? T-E-R-A.
Yeah.
A-R-H-A-X-A-D.
Okay, to Abraham, right? It's going to be important to know the lineage. That's key. Look at Genesis 14:13. Somebody read it, please.
Then a survivor who had escaped from the invading forces on the other side of the Jordan came and told Abram, the Hebrew.
Abram the who?
The Hebrew.
He was called what? The Hebrew. Okay.
Now he was living by the terebinths, oaks is in
I
parentheses.
think what the emphasis I want is Abram the Hebrew.
Okay.
Okay? Look at Genesis 40. Verse 15.
For in fact, I was taken from the land of the Hebrews by unlawful force.
The land of the what?
Of the Hebrews.
Hebrews. Okay. Let's look at Jubilees. So how do we get the name Israel? So Abraham had how many sons? Huh? He had two sons who were and Isaac. Isaac had who? Jacob. So we had Abraham, what? Isaac and Jacob. Okay? That's the bloodline. Abraham who? Isaac and Jacob. Jacob had how many sons? 12. He had 12 sons. And so along the way, because he had an encounter with God, God changed his name to who?
Israel.
Israel. And the name Israel means a God encounter. He wrestled with God.
Wasn't gonna let it go.
So with that, he changed his name to what? Israel. You can't forget that. He changed his name to Israel, and Israel had 12 sons. And the 12 sons became 12 tribes. The 12 sons became 12 tribes. Abram's name also means the Hebrew. Look it up. The Hebrew. So, Jubilees what? Jubilees 12. Let's start with verse 12, verse 25.
And the Lord God said, open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth, with the language which has been revealed. For it had ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babel.
Come on.
And
It was a one language, right? And what was the language?
Hebrew.
I didn't hear nobody. What was the language?
Hebrew.
Hebrew. And it says, for it has ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babel. Right?
Right.
Okay, next verse.
And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and I began to speak with him in Hebrew in the tongue of the creation.
The tongue of what?
Creation.
Of creation is what?
Hebrew.
We're still talking about it today. It never went away. They're still talking about Hebrew today. That's the perfect language.
And he took the books of his fathers, and these were written in Hebrew, and he transcribed them, and he began from henceforth to study them. And I made known to him that which he could not understand, and he studied them during the 6 rainy months.
Excuse me, what verse?
Oh, I'm sorry, verse 27. Get ready to go to 28. On page 299. Okay. And it came to pass in the 7th year of the 6th.
Where are we?
Okay,
Just
verse 28.
Yeah, just 25, 26, 27.
Okay.
What are we highlighting here? And I opened his mouth, giving a little history in verse 25, what the language that has ceased, the other languages, but he opened his mouth with his ears and his lips, and I began to speak with him in Hebrew, in the tongue of the creation. That's the key. Let's continue to look at go to, I think it is 43, chapter 43, I think it is. $43.15.
And he conversed with them in the Hebrew tongue, and fell on their neck and wept.
Go back to chapter 39, verse 10. So, from the lineage of Eber, which means Hebrew, and it also means the one that crossed over the river, that comes Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. Jacob had an experience with God. His name was changed to Israel. And when we look at Israel, he had 12 sons, which is also called 12 tribes. Israel is a name of a people. It is not the name of the land. And we will get to the point, how did the name Israel become, the promised land become Israel?
And the woman saw that he would not lie with her, and she calumniated him in the presence of his Lord, saying, Thy Hebrew servant, whom thou lovest, sought to force me so that he might lie with me. And it came to pass, when I lifted up my voice, that he fled and left his garment in my hands when I held him, and he brake through the door.
So thy Hebrew servant, whom thou lovest. I just want to point out Hebrew. Do you see it?
Yes.
There's a distinction between Egyptian and a distinction between Hebrew. 47:7.
And thy sister said unto her, Shall I go and call unto thee one of the Hebrew women to nurse and suckle this babe for thee?
Say it again. Did we cover it?
And thy sister said unto her, Shall I go and call unto thee one of the Hebrew women to nurse and suckle this babe for thee?
So notice that the Egyptians, we know, were people of color. And they came from Ham. Remember, Ham's name means burnt. It means dark. Remember that. And the Egyptians came from out of Ham. So we know their color was dark. And here it is, we're dealing with Egyptian women, and we're dealing with the baby who's Hebrew. And they're saying, nurse the baby. That means apparently there won't be any distinction if Pharaoh saw him nursing the baby. Apparently their color was similar. So the Egyptians in Shem, or the Hebrew Israelites, there was a similarity in color. But yet the difference was the Hebrews spoke Hebrew. They kept their language. And that language is still here today. They kept their language. They did not go when they were all in cahoots with the Tower of Babel, with Nimrod. They did not participate. And therefore their language was not scattered. They kept their language. That language is here today. Question anybody? All right. We have to know genealogy, because genealogy is going to help us when we know who's in the family. Now, something about Apostle Lynn, I mean, this was somebody's sister, and this was something like, yeah, okay. And now I'm like, okay, whose sister was that? Okay, you need to know, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see how they can't folk right now, you know. It's important. It's important. Look at somebody and say, it's important. It's important. No bloodline. No bloodline. We have to know the bloodline so we can no longer be a people that is not in the know. Come on, teacher, you got something?
No, wait.
Just later on, I think in the class up right before I had something, but it's not.
Okay, that's good.
We arrived to it now.
We're around to it. So, turn to Exodus. Okay, did I finish everything? Did we go 47:7?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to Exodus 3:18. We're trying to figure out how is it that they're Hebrew Israelites? Question. Okay. You there? Exodus 3:18?
Yes. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and ye shall say unto him, the Lord God of the Hebrews hath met with us, and now let us go, we beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that he will let you go.
Okay. So, what did he do? It was for the Hebrews? What is that?
The God of the Hebrews.
The God of the... Why did he make a distinction?
The church.
They were chosen. And Egyptians were already serving other gods. Huh? They were serving other gods already. He said the God of the who? The Hebrews. Okay, let's look at 5 and 3. Exodus 5 and 3.
And they said, the God of the Hebrews have met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto the Lord our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. And
So he said, who is that again? God of the Hebrews. You can look it up over and over and over again where he says the God of the Hebrews. 1 Samuel 4, verse 9. So, can we say the Hebrews were of color?
Yep.
Huh? Can we say the Hebrews were of color? Can we say the Hebrews were of color?
Yes.
Hebrews was
Yes.
black.
They're black. So, there was one incident I can recall where when it was time to pay the census or the taxes, something happened. Or when they were after the babies. Because Egyptians were people of dark skin. They had a red colors, but that's what coming out of Ham. Keep that in mind. Okay? Let's go.
4:9. Be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines, that ye be not servants unto the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight. And the Philistines.
1 Samuel 4, that's verse 9.
Yes.
What is it again?
Be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines, that ye be not servants unto the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight.
Okay. What about 1 Samuel 13:3?
And Jonathan smote the garrison of the Philistines that was in Gaba. And the Philistines heard of it. And Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear.
Let the Hebrews hear the trumpets. You see that? 1 Samuel 29:3.
Then said the princes of the Philistines, What do these Hebrews hear? And Achish said unto the princes of the Philistines, Is not this David, the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, which had been with me these days or these years?
Okay,
And I have,
he's talking about these Hebrews, right? Was he talking about David?
yes,
David is a what?
servant of Saul.
But he's a what?
Hebrew.
He's a Hebrew. So that means David was what? Huh? He was black. He was a Hebrew. Okay? Matthew, last one. So genealogy is important, right? So we're dealing with the ancient Egyptians and we're dealing with the Hebrew Israelites. One thing we have to realize is that we really couldn't, there was almost no difference. Because they were all covered. So that's why Joseph was able to go to the Pharaoh's house. Remember, all the pharaohs during that time were black. They were Egyptians. And so he was able to go to the Pharaoh's house, and then when his brothers came to during a famine, guess what? He had all the royalty stuff on, but they didn't recognize him. He blended in with the Egyptians. Joseph was black. He was Hebrew.
He was.
Okay. Go ahead.
The thing about Mary being mad at Moses, we heard in the churches that they got mad at him because he married a black woman.
Yeah.
But is it fair to say that we conclude that it wasn't the fact that she was black, it's because she was from a different tribe and they worship other gods?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the real reason?
Yeah, but that's not taught in the church.
I know. Okay. I just
And
wanted to-
they teach from her perspective as if Moses the what? Hebrew. Y'all know Moses was a Hebrew? Find a scripture that is for homework that it says Moses was Hebrew.
Moses was married to a woman named Zipporah. And she was there, and her daddy was Jethro from Midian. And so she was
You don't want to do
Midian.
none of this on the tape? Because you can go down and you can memorize this stuff.
Moses was Hebrew. As he left exile away from Egypt, he came into a place of Midian, and he met a lady by the name of Zipporah. Her father's name was Jethro, and so that was in the land. They were Midianites, and so they were black.
Yeah.
So So, I mean,
So, Matthew 1. We're not going to skip over the genealogy. Because it's important. Ready? Somebody start reading.
The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham.
Oh, wait. Huh? Wait. Wait. Okay, let's stop right there. What does that say to you? Okay, this is the thing that they began to tell us. Color does not matter. It's not true.
They got everybody else believing it too.
Yeah, color does matter. It mattered to the Most High God. Why would he be so distinctive? Why? So descriptive.
Because of what he put into this people.
because of what God had put into his people. He said he sowed his laws on the inside of them. And then he said the angels, he assigned the angels to the other towns. But Israel, it is him himself who watches over his people. Because when you were in your mother's womb, you weren't in there with just water. You was in there with fire and water. So that changes everything. You're forged in fire and water to come into the fullness of knowing who you are. And when you begin to seek it, so when she said line by line and precept by precept, that means you got to read. You got to go and study, look at this and find out what it is, because people, the pastors out there, they'll tell you some crazy stuff, and they will put a big old story around it. But when you find it out for yourself, then they can't tell you nothing no more.
This is important for God's people. It's not about anti-black, anti-white, it's anti-Semitic, it's not anti-Jew. It's coming to the truth and the identity of revealing his chosen people. So,
I could comment. You know, you see a lot of people that go to heaven and they see Jesus and they describe him as they see him with blue eyes, blue hair, whatever. I do believe that that's their perception, maybe, that how God shows them who they, through their own eyes, they want to believe that.
that's all they saw.
Yeah. Yeah, so they see it as that. But they might say he has woolly hair, but the eyes are always blue, or not always blue.
But we gotta understand once I'm not gonna give you any more homework today. But that is the thing. We will be having that homework to find out how did that picture become.
Huh? Well, I can tell you.
Don't do that. Shoot. Okay. So we can see here, so verse 2. Let's read. Look.
Abraham begot Isaac, Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judah and his brothers. Judah begot Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez
Tamar. She made the cut.
Perez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram. Ram begot Amminadab. Amminadab begot Nashon, and Nashon begot Salmon. Salmon begot Boaz by Rahab.
Wait a minute. Boaz. Yeah, see that? So we looking at all the black part.
In my Old Testament, Judah is for example J-U-A-H, but the New Testament see changes to that, so I see that they slightly changed the stuff.
And yours? Yeah, mine's is still JUDAH. What is yours?
Judas, and even like with the word Boaz, Booz, whereas in the Old Testament, Boaz.
Mine's is BOAZ. What Bible is that?
In the New Testament,
No.
1611, Regency Bible by Thomas Nelson Publishers.
16, look, what's the, New King James?
It's all
Old King James. I may BOAS. We need to look it up. How about looking it up in Hebrew? Okay. J-A, what do you got? J-U-D? That's still wrong though. Cause it, okay, you know why?
There's another name.
No, well, we won't get to that name yet, but remember there was no J.
Right.
Remember there's still no J.
In Hebrew.
In Hebrew or Greek, there's still no J. Next week homework is about the letter J. That's next week homework. Just remember.